Pick up your Nightmare on Elm Street figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description down below while they last. Kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors, and happy Friday the 13th to ya. And guess what? Today also happens to be Freddy Krueger Day. It's not often that this happens, so we're going to go ahead and celebrate Friday the 13th with a Freddy Krueger review. So today we're going to be taking a look at the very first Ultimate figure NECA has ever released, and it's going to be Freddy Krueger from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is the Ultimate figure that kicked off every single other Ultimate release. So going all the way back to 2014, fans today are still considering whether or not to pick this up, simply due to the fact that, yeah, it's the original Freddy, and the upcoming hold on the license are scaring a few into maybe picking it up just because it may not be available in the future. So without any further ado, let's take a look to see whether or not Freddy is worth adding into your collection. Back when the Ultimate figure concept was pitched, the intention was that you were going to get one figure that basically was the definitive version of that character, and you would not have to buy any other release of this character in order to get the perfect version of it. Meaning NECA would go the extra mile to make sure that it looked fantastic. It came with all the accessories that it needed, and the articulation was on par with all of the rest of the good stuff they were releasing at the time. So in terms of looks, Freddy here is fantastic. Now, before they started releasing the Ultimate figures, I'm not really familiar with NECA's dabbling in the Nightmare on Elm Street license, so I can't say exactly for sure what parts were reused from some of their older figures, but for the sculpted details here and the paint application, Freddy is looking really, really good. The burn marks on the head sculpt, the default one that we get out of the box anyway, look fantastic, and the paint application is on par as well. Freddy's detailing is great. Now the default head, as you can see here, looks great, but the fedora looks great as well, with only one issue being a little bit of excessive plastic, which is just simple to peel off. Not a huge issue. For Freddy's sweater as well, it's very accurate to the movie. Only a couple of small paint drips, which to be honest, I really didn't notice until I was actually taking a closer look at the pictures. So considering that, you know, Freddy is another worldly demon, a dream war thing, you know, whatever you'd prefer to call Freddy Krueger, this really isn't that big of a deal. Then we do have the detailing on that nasty razor-bladed glove, and you know what? And it pretty much matches up with what you're going to be seeing on screen, including the other hand. Now, his pants kind of leave a little bit to be desired, but I don't really know how you can make some awesome-looking pants. But, you know, the boots, those look cool as well. So all in all, Freddy Krueger here is looking pretty slick. And if you're a fan of the original design of Freddy Krueger, this is going to be a nice 7-inch or so scale figure to put on the shelf. Freddy Krueger figures before this one were essentially just statues with some swivels and maybe a hinge here or there. This truly is the first full-on action figure that Freddy Krueger has received. So he's going to have some points of articulation. What do we have? Well, the head plugs in on a peg, and that peg acts as a swivel, and that peg then plugs into the neck on a ball joint. But the neck does not plug into the body on a ball joint. That's just a sculpt. So Freddy is going to be able to look around in all sorts of different directions, up about that far, down about that far, twist and turn, side to side, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and put the fedora back on. So he's not going to be looking around in every direction, you know, but he can look around well enough to frighten all the kids on Elm Street, which is pretty cool. So for the shoulders, we are going to have hinges to raise and lower and move the arms in and out and swivel around. For the elbows, they are going to have the swivel and hinge combo that we know and some love. Wrists are going to have ball joints. Okay. So easy movement there. For The main body, we are at least going to have a waist joint, but it feels like there's also a joint in the torso, but it also doesn't, because you can kind of see it moving, but I don't know if that's just me forcing it. Yeah, but he does have a waist joint, even though, you know, the sweater is sculpted at an angle. So we do have swivels for the hips. You can spread his legs forward and back that far. And then hinges to do the splits about that far. Where the hips plug into the thighs, we do have thigh swivels. We do have swivels at the knee, along with single hinge knees. And then we do have some ankle movement, though on mine, it's rather limited, even after hitting it with some heat with a blow dryer. So I'm not quite sure if we're working with very limited ball joints, or if there's going to be similar to a swivel hinge system down here. So I'm going to go ahead and be on the safe side and say limited ball joints. So overall, for the very first real crack at an action figure for Freddy Krueger, NECA did a really great job here. Unfortunately, in recent years, with some of the other Freddy Ultimate figures that they've made, they haven't really made major improvements, but yeah, you know, it's pretty good. It gets the job done. Keeping in line with the ultimate idea, Freddy comes with a ton of accessories, and compared to some of the releases at the time of this, the other NECA releases that is, Freddy came with a lot of accessories. He comes with one grinning face. He comes with one face where the skin slid off. Oh! He comes with what NECA is calling the dead skin face. He comes with a hand where he chopped off some of his own fingers, and he comes with the infamous telephone. Ooh, ah. So let's go ahead and take a look at those alternate heads where, yep, Freddy's going to be smiling. You've already seen this one. This is the head sculpt that I like the most on this figure. So, yeah, it's the one that I'm going to be using. And then, boom. Yep, I like this one as well. It's pretty cool. I think I'm going to be using this in a few jump scares in upcoming videos, so you have been officially warned. Then we have the dead skin mask, and this one only works on the default neutral head sculpt out of the box, so do keep that in mind if you want Freddy to actually wear this. The detailing on all of them is pretty good, though I do think the paint is a little thick on the skin mask. For the alternate hand for Freddy, the detailing actually does look like the hand is a little extra crispy in terms of paint application, so it's not consistent with the normal hand that Freddy comes with. So if you're worried about that, you know, it is what it is. But the green goo, blood that's squirting out of his hand, yep, pretty neat. Ectoplasm, ooh. Then, of course, we have the phone, and if you want to make some prank calls onto your other figures, hey, this is going to be a good one to do it with. The detailing actually for the size is pretty impressive, though I do feel like we could have gotten some better detailing for the Freddy parts on the phone, but you know what? For the sizing, it's not terrible. So all in all for Freddy Krueger here, for the time that this was released for the very first Ultimate, with the intention that we were to get all of the accessories in one single release for this version of the character, yeah, NECA pretty much hit the nail on the head, and I don't know really what else they could have included here for this release to be solid, aside from maybe a support stand of some kind. But of course, if you want a stand or some other accessories, you know I got some videos to help you out there. Now we're going to go ahead and round this review out with a size comparison alongside the Freddy vs. Jason Voorhees figure, because it is Friday the 13th, and it's Freddy Krueger Day. Yep. Two iconic horror characters together, living in harmony. So this way you can see how big the two of them will be together on your shelf. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Like I said, this is the first Ultimate figure, and this is the beginning of a long line of the last 5 years of Ultimate figures NECA has made. And considering some of the more recent ones, this one is definitely a little bit lacking by today's standards, but for when it came out, it was very, very impressive. It had fans jumping for joy then, and you know what? It's pretty solid even today. If you're looking to pick this up, I'd advise doing it sooner rather than later because of the licensing hold that has recently been put in place for both Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, not sure how long this one's going to be sticking around in stock, so get it soon. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand-selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand-selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.